Well, I wasn't really stationed any place. We moved a lot. Uh, I was up on the front line in Chinshan Reservoir, up in that area, and out on a little outpost called Tom. There was three outposts out in front of the 38th parallel called Tom, Dick, and Harry. They were, Tom was smallest, Dick was second, Harry was the big one, and we were on Tom for a little over 2 weeks, and most of the companies that went out there were there for a week. So one day we asked the captain, why are we still here? Everybody else was only out here a week. He said, oh, you want to get off? We can get off tomorrow if you want. I said, why? He said, well, if you get off, we got to go to Dick or Harry. And he said, they're not fighting to take this place. They lost over a battalion of men on Harry. That was a big one. The Chinese were, they would take it, we'd take it back. I mean, it was just crazy, you know. So that's okay, we'll stay here, you know. But, and then I went on a lot of patrols. From the outpost, we would go on patrols and around. And that's why the memorial in Washington is so real, because the way they were dressed, and we had a lot of bad weather, and you went out with long ponchos and carrying a rifle, and the rifle that they've got on that big statue looks just exactly like an M1, but it's just blown way up, you know. So that was about all there was to it. And I was only there while the fighting was on for 3.5 months, and it had ended. And they transferred me back to battalion headquarters. They found out that I worked for Cleaver Brooks, and I was a draftsman, and needed somebody to make training aids for the officers that was teaching the class in this NCO academy. So I went back on a 30-day TDY, a temporary duty assignment, and my 30 days was up. I said to the major, am I going back to my company now? And he said, no, I have nobody to replace you, so you're staying here. Okay, that didn't make me sad, because I'm sleeping in a Quonset hut, a nice cot, and our hot food, and you know, those guys up on line were moving all of these bunkers that were out in front. So you're carrying these great big logs and sandbags that were on top of the bunkers to keep mortar rounds from coming in. So I said, okay. So I stayed there till time for me to come home, and now all of a sudden, he's not letting me go home either. And I thought, oh boy, so what am I gonna do? I was playing basketball, and I asked one of the guys from Boston College, I said, what were you studying in college, Jones? And he said, graphic design. Oh, would you like a project? I think I can get you a better job. So he came in at night, and he made this elaborate presentation from me on one of these big sheets where you could flip the pages, and it really was nice. And the major took it back to battalion headquarters, and there was 3 generals back there, and he had to give this big presentation. And he came back and he said, you outdid yourself, Del. He said, this is the best thing you've ever done. And I said, well, could you sign my transfer papers then? And he said, what? He said, I just told you it's the best you've ever done. I said, Major Simmons, I didn't do it. Private Jones did it. And he said, where's he at? And I said, he works here. Go get him. Came back and said, did you do this? And Jones said, yeah. And he said, would you like a job? Jones said, yes. So he said, go pack, Del. I went and packed, and there was a Jeep waiting for me to take me back to my regular company, which I didn't know anybody back there. You know, half of them had gone home, and the master sergeant in charge, who was a great guy, he was gone home. So I was there only 2 days, I think, and then they shipped me down to Busan to be shipped out to come home.